Welcome to Expat Hoops, the podcast where we talk to basketball players who have played professionally overseas. Today we talk to Ameer Jackson. He played both Division I and Division II basketball before turning pro and starting his career in Romania, and he has played in Qatar, Tunisia, and Iraq, where he just finished up this past season.
As a reminder, help us grow this podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell on YouTube. You'll be notified every time we have new content. Now, if you'll join Tony and I in welcoming Ameer Jackson to Expat Hoops. Welcome, Ameer.
How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. We're actually going to jump back a little bit in your career, well before you were a pro. You bounced around a little bit in high school and then even in college. I know that there's a really good article written by Stephen J. Gaither from HBCU Game Day, where he kind of described you as a quote-unquote basketball nomad even before he hit the overseas pro scene. Includes 3 high schools in 2 states and 3 colleges in 3 different states. How would you describe for our listeners basically how that might have prepared you for what your career eventually wound up being overseas?
I think it helped me a lot because, overseas, you're going to go to some cases, players may sign for with the team for a year or 2, stay there 2-3 years, who knows, maybe 5, who knows, but the area I'm in, you mainly jump, not just jump, but you go to different places. So when me going to different high schools, getting to know different people, it just really made me be a more people person. I got to really be around a lot of different people. So when I got to that aspect of being a pro, I got to go here, this country, this team. It's I'm used to, I've been to 3 different high schools, like you said, three different colleges. So it's I didn't came comfortable with coming into a new setting, if that makes sense. I'm not nervous at all. When I'm coming to something new, I'm like, all right, let's go. I get to show them who I am, type stuff.
Yeah, and even though it wasn't international, I mean, you're from the North Carolina area, right? Originally?
Yeah, Annapolis area.
Yeah, and so I mean, you go to a little bit of your backstory is that you, at least in college, you started out Dodge City, Kansas, played 2 seasons there. Went to Sam Houston State. Yeah, exactly. Went to Sam Houston State for a season, did really well there, transferred to Winston-Salem State. And that's actually a really interesting point in your pre-professional career, I think, that you went to Winston-Salem State for the 2nd semester. You wound up being the 2nd leading scorer on the team, despite not playing a full season. And then you decided to bypass your final season at Winston-Salem State. Take us through that, in terms of what your decision process was at that point in time to bypass your last season.
That last season, so coming into there, I was okay. Coming into there, it was all love. The coach shout out to Coach Wilhelm. I had the green light on the court. I have no problems with it. But we had a little miscommunication, because I was playing out of position at Winston. I'm a point guard. I've always been a point guard. I got taller, as I grew up in years, but I always been a point guard. So when I went to Winston, I'm 6'3", 6'4", D2 is a lot of, small guards, maybe just 6 feet point guard, all that, but you never really see a 6'4" point guard, really. It's rarely. So when I was there, and I could rebound real good, I'm very athletic. So when I was there, I've shown I'm very athletic, but they was just more so he was more so you just, you could be the one in the game, the point guard, of course, be a combo, but we need you in the wing, we need you, which is no problem, but I wanted to be I can do that from the point guard, but I don't have to do that just from the 2 or the 3, or, I played the 4 maybe a little bit, but I just feel I wanted to be mainly the one. I wanted to be the one on the ball, that's the point guard, but I was more so they looked at it as I was the combo wing, so just that was my biggest thing, honestly. I really wanted to come back for my senior season. And me and Coach Wilhelm, we actually get into this, my mom, my little brother, he actually see my mom, here and there at little tournaments, man, your son got me fired. He left me my senior year. But me and him actually had this conversation. I just didn't want to play out of position. I didn't want to gamble my last year in college of me playing out of position, because them half a season I played that D2, which I did still good from that perspective, I was out of position. I could have did way more. I felt limited, playing out of position. So I didn't even want that even to be a conversation my senior season. So I just, I eliminated it. I did what was best for me. and I just felt like going pro was, it was the route. And me going pro, I got to play my position straight ahead, like, first season. So that was really my biggest thing. It wasn't more so like, let's go get some money or, let's do that. It wasn't more so I actually wanted to come back for my senior season. I love Winston. Winston was the best choice for me after leaving, that D1 situation. But it was just more so like me. I wasn't comfortable in the position I was in on the court. Even though to the outside, you ask anybody in CI or anybody who played with me, Mir had the green light, Mir was this. But it's not about the green light. It's about me doing more for my team. Like I could have averaged way more than assists that I had. I could have averaged way more points, but I could have averaged way more rebounds at the point guard spot. It was just so much more I could have did and more comfortable at that point guard spot. So that was my biggest thing leaving Winston.
And as a Division II athlete, you played Division I, you were at Sam Houston. It is a bit risky, and I'm sure a lot of people probably may have said that to you at that time, not sticking around in school, going pro, especially, going overseas. It came with a bit of a risk. So you talked about on the court and how that was a decision that was a little bit easier for you just because of your own experience. What was it like off the court for you when heading toward that decision to go pro?
It was real, like it was definitely big time, but it was like more so like I couldn't believe it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I really like, damn, I'm really about to, off the court, like I tell you, the word got around quick, actually, like, like especially with my school, they was just like, yo, I hear me going pro. So like it was a lot of stuff leading up to it. But the biggest thing for me off the court was like make sure my mom was okay with it, and my father, So it was like once they was on board with it, I felt so much comfortable. Like, and honestly, I didn't even like, because Winston is a big traditional school. Like when I went there, they were so like happy that I was there because honestly, Winston's only like 40 minutes from my hometown. So a lot of people from here go there. And, people knew me for basketball growing up. North Carolina's not just a crazy big, it's really small when it comes to basketball. Like they know like, oh, he played basketball. So it's like, when I went there, it was all love, man. Like they even show love, even though they know I was leaving type stuff. Of course, you had the little fans, man, please come back. Man, they actually bribed me a lot off the court to come back, man. They said I would get, which I believe it. They said I would, I've already came back, I got my jersey hung up, this and that. Man, it was a lot of stuff off the court that was trying to get me to come back, but I just feel like it was the best decision for my career. But off the court wise, it definitely was. It wasn't as easy as everybody think it was. Like, oh, I could just say, nah, man. Like I had to really think about it. Because when you become a pro, it's a whole different lifestyle. It's like I'm only a 3-4 year pro now, and it's still new to me. You know what I'm saying? Kind of, because I'm a pro now, so you know what I'm saying. I'm still getting used to it, still learning stuff as time go on. So,
and so it probably wasn't as easy of a decision or as logical a decision as some other people that we've had on the pod before, going from D2, with your experience in college going pro. So you make the decision. Now you have to make a lot of other decisions. You have to get logistically ready to go overseas to go somewhere. What was the process that you went through after you said, hey, I'm going pro, and you were looking overseas to see what kind of offers you got and that kind of thing?
I had to change my whole thought about the game, because all the way up until before I said I was going to go pro, and this is just me being, Tom, this is, it's a podcast. This is what people need to hear too. So like, I was just going off more of my skill. Like I wasn't working out. I wasn't going to the gym on my own. I mean, of course, I would stay after practice, when we had practice, shoot, come to practice early. But I never was like, oh, I need to go to the gym now. We don't have nothing going on. Let me go push shots, or let me get work out. Let me go do that. So as soon as I went pro, like that instantly changed. Like I got this trainer now. Shout out to Tevin Jones. He played at UVA. He's known, around with the basketball. He's a trainer now with under pressure skills. He got me so much better on the court, like for my pro wise, because he gave me like that, like, yo, you're a pro now. You got to start eating right. You got to do this, stretch, do this, do that. And his skill work on the court, like I actually was going to him, like, throughout the whole week, throughout the whole month, just time after time after I was declared pro. And he got me really ready and I wish I would have did more work with him before I went to my rookie season, but that he played a big part of it. Him and his, his training company played a big part of it. And me, like I said, I had to start eating right. I had to, nobody could wake me up to go to the gym. I had to go to the gym on my own. Like, it wasn't nobody, I had nobody saying, be here, be there. I had to set up the point with my trainer, with my, my brother Tevin. I had to tell him, like, yo, it's time. Even though he was telling me to get in and with him, but I had to wake myself up, like, all right, it's time to go work out, or I gotta go work out, like I'm doing now. So it's like, it's just whole change. Like, man, it's just like, you gotta have some strictness to you. Like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have some discipline to you, if that makes sense.
It does. It makes total sense, especially coming from a place, you ended up in some big towns, but like Kannapolis ain't the biggest town in the world.
No, it ain't.
And you're not far from Charlotte, but there's a lot of stuff going on there. But still, you're a local guy, and having to make that leap, you knew you were going to go to a country you'd never been to before. I assume you hadn't been much overseas prior to that, right?
Yeah, it was correct. And it's wild how I actually went down the first year, because I was trying to go to the Middle East right after Winston, but nobody would take me serious in the Middle East. They like, man, he's not. It's so, this is a wild story. He's not that, he's, this like not giving me a chance. So that's why I went to Romania. I actually, it's crazy. I'm glad this on the podcast. I wanted to come out later on when I get bigger in basketball. I got my first deal in Romania, honestly. And honestly, I got my second deal in Qatar. Like, and how that went about, when I left Winston, I had this guy, my coach, Paul Davis. He made a big name in the Middle East, played in Saudi Arabia, all that. He gave me the agent that was like, I can get you in the Middle East right after Winston. So time goes on, he couldn't get me in there. Like I said, they wasn't taking me serious. So I actually started doing my own research, like seeing teams. Like I went to go search teams, Facebook, all that. Came up on a team in Romania, and he said he loved my game. I went there and did that. And then from there, that's when I started doing my own work again in that summer. Like, yo, I did this in Romania. I happened to send that to somebody in Qatar that works not even with the basketball. And he said to the head coach, and then, yeah, so like I did, like, it's crazy. I really did my own work to get where I'm at right now. And people think it.
And you commented once on your season in Romania, as you said, you called it as levels. You basically said the only thing that matters is what you do your first year. If you would have went to the Romanian league and averaged 20, they would have been looking at me like that's nothing. So what was that like for you playing in Romania with that kind of motivation that you had to play in that league?
It was, man, I had to come there with a lot of motivation. I actually came there. I actually would have averaged more than 37, because when I came there, I was going there like, okay, I'm scoring 20, 25. This is good. This is great. That's great for basketball world. But then I started, like I got into levels. That was the now Romania have one league. Then it was two leagues. So I was in the first league, the okay league, and they got the better one. So when I got there, I'm like, I'm scoring 20s and all that, but it didn't matter to like the basketball world where I'm trying to go, because it's a low league. Nobody cares I'm averaging 20 in that little league. So, and I knew that one day because I called the agent with, my NBA agent that I'm with, Aries Sports, out of Philly. I was talking to him, and he was just like, man, 20 points. You want to, you want to get to the NBA, you want to do this, you can't be averaging a 20 there. It's not going to be, nobody's going to take you serious. And that was like the third game, type stuff. So once he told me that, I was like, man, I can't get, like, I was playing to win, of course, but I was like, man, I can't get nothing lower than 30. Like, I was really like, on the hunt. I was so motivated, and he really put that in me. He was just like, man, because he knew the basketball world. Like, nobody cares you having 20 in that league. Go average almost 40, 30 plus. Then you're talking, and I did that. So, man, it worked out, man. I'm glad I found that motivation, because I felt like if I did average 20 or 15, I'd still be not struggling at all, but just taking longer to get where I'm at now. Like, I probably wouldn't have the biggest name I have now, if I would have just averaged 20 there, and probably wouldn't have got to Qatar and got a name in the Middle East and be able to showcase my talent in the Middle East.
Yeah, let's go to there. So, like you've mentioned, I think not only off the pod, but a little bit here too, you started out in Romania and you wanted to go to the Middle East out of college, went to Romania. Take us through the transition from you're doing really, really well in Romania to getting yourself to Qatar? I know you said you had a little bit of help with an agent, but you also said that you did a lot of it yourself.
I was still signed today, but I actually did it on my own. Like I messaged somebody it was with Al Sports Club in Qatar. I actually messaged like the lower league, like kids coach by accident. Not even by accident, just trying to get my name there. He sent it to the coach named Zaire, and he seen it, called me while I was like on my date with an ex-girlfriend then in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. I remember like it was yesterday. I was on the boardwalk. He called me like, "Hey man, I love your game. I want you to come play for me." And I'm telling him I'm out because of what I got in Romania. Like, I tell him, you need to hide. I was getting $500 a month. That was nothing. I could have stayed. But I was a rookie, just trying to, it wasn't about the money. It was about going to get my name out there playing for the next season. So I told the coach, like, yo, I'm just getting $500. I'll take 1,000, and he like, nah, man, you way more work than that. And he said the number. I'm like, are you gonna give me that? He's like, yeah, for sure. And I'm like, okay. So that made me even more motivated to, like, when I got there, like, okay, I'm getting paid this now. Like, and it's crazy how I went down. Like I told you, they actually knew who I kind of was before, because like I told you, an agent tried to get me in there, but he couldn't get me in the market in the Middle East. So when I got there, it was like the team kind of like, how can I say? Because I was the youngest import in the league then. The team kind of like second guessed me, if that made sense. Like they got to asking like the older Americans that was around me, because me, you get closer to teammates. My teammates coming back like the other Americans, like he's like 30. He like, man, the coach coming in asking me, do you think Ameer's ready for this season? Do you think Ameer can handle this? You think he's talented enough? And my teammates, because they're American, they know game, so they're like, yeah, he's definitely ready. I mean, he might be young, but I feel like he's gonna do work. So like, up until like our first scrimmage, they was like second guessing me. As soon as we had that first scrimmage, and it's crazy, I'm glad one of my boys who plays, his name is Ameer Jackson. He actually had good accolades in Qatar the year before I went. He knew I was coming there, and he wasn't there no more. He was like, yo, and he did good there, and he know my game, because me and him played at Evelyn Mack my senior year in high school. He said, bro, you got a scrimmage coming up. Do not showcase your talent, bro. Showcase your talent to a certain ability, because when you get, because he knew my game. When you get the plan, they're going to scout on you. They're going to sit 3 people on you. And I believed him, but I didn't. So when we came to the scrimmage, like I told you, the team was second guessing me. The scrimmage I probably went like 75% out of 100. I didn't really show everything, but I showed enough where it was like, oh my God, like he's the one. Like I had even my teammates was trying me before the scrimmage, and then they come to me like, yo, like you're real good. And I'm letting them know like, this really ain't nothing. And I think that scrimmage I had like 20. I had almost a triple double, 22, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. So the coach instantly then was like, all right, okay, we got one, kind of. So the games came, and then honestly, that was like one of my best seasons, even though I'm still young in the pro. Like that was one of my best seasons as my whole career. It was like I got in a mode, like it's like I don't know, man. It felt real good. The coach. The first game I did very good. Like I think I had like 24, 10, and like 11. And then from then it just kept going on and up. We didn't win a lot of games, but like my friend told me, after that, honestly, I think after like the third game, I'd never seen just one defender no more. Like not just saying I got double teamed, but I would have to come down like he's guarding me. It's 2 others like even they talking like, hey, we're watching you with Jackson. We don't care about nobody else. Like they started doing what my friend said. They started shitting on me even earlier than expected. Like, because they said when she started killing in the season, they started adjusting to him midway. But me, they started adjusting like the 3rd, 4th game. Like, hey, man, we're going to make sure you don't. And I still found a way, I still played to win. And my numbers were still very good. So that Qatar year, man, I'll never forget that Qatar year. I averaged a double-double. That's hard from a point guard.
Yeah, leading scorer in the league, too.
Yeah, leading scorer in the league, too. So it's like, man, that's big time for me. So it's like, I can never forget about that season. That season really did a lot for me. It did.
So tell us about your injury, because the season following that, you ended up with a torn ACL in Tunisia after you left Qatar.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. So people don't know this too. When I left Qatar, I went to my NBA agent, flew out. They wanted me to do the G League that season, coming off that hot season. I was going to do it, but under the table, team called Al Ittihad in Saudi Arabia. Al Ittihad, they're very, known in Saudi Arabia, winning tradition. They offered me some good amount of money, like, hey, just come here, So I signed, not telling my agent. So when I signed, nobody really knows but me. So I get, I feel like it was kind of karma. Who knows? I feel like I want to take care of my body too. I feel like I'm way more than that. So that summer we went to a good pickup. I don't know if you know some of these guys like Kennedy Meeks. He played at Carolina. I can keep going. Dante Clark. It was just a lot of people, pros at Stephen Curry Court downtown Charlotte. So I literally was just coming down court and with no contact. Actually, before I did it, scored 7 points back to back. I came down, rose up, and came down. And this is in the back court, not even to the front court when we all playing. I'm walking the ball in that court and I tore my ACL. And yeah, it was just walking down the court. Everybody was looking like, yo, like, you didn't even do anything. And I think that's because I wasn't taking care of my body. So that injury, it set me back. And then like I told y'all before, we got on there, I went to Tunisia 5 months out of surgery, like out of ACL surgery. Like, I'm tired of being home, so used to playing, and I felt so good, which was a bad decision not to do. To do so. It was that injury definitely helped me, but it helped me in a lot of ways too, though, for sure.
Yeah, it helped you through your recovery process. You had a chance to at least be on a roster, but the reason you ended up being delayed and not playing in Tunisia is because of COVID.
Yeah, the COVID.
So
yes.
There was a lot of negativity surrounding that, and of course, it was not part of the plan. But it ended up being, as you said, sort of a blessing for you. They treated you well there. You were in a resort, but pandemic hit and you had to come home.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's exactly what happened. The resort was very beautiful too. I was down there in Tunisia with the Zara Club.
So from Tunisia, although you didn't get to play, you do wind up coming back to the Middle East the next season in Iraq. Take us through your season in Iraq, and we might even try to do this as an extra, but there's definitely a lot on your Instagram of not only fan interaction, but some of the things that you've seen. So between the season and what you did off the court, take us through your last season in Iraq.
I was only able to be in Iraq for a month and about like 20 days. I played the whole half of first season, but it was a very good. It was a good experience for me because I wanted to see that. Like I wanted to see what was going on in Iraq, and it was a crazy experience. Not bad crazy, but like I'm in Iraq. I get to see like old bombs and just crazy stuff. A lot of police out, guns. It was just a experience, and even like the beautiful side. The desert and everything. And I was stayed in Baghdad for a little bit. But the season was good. The team treated me real good. Our team wasn't very skilled there at all. Like we probably was like the worst team in that during that time. But the coach hit me up when I was working out. It was just like, yo, we heard you're healthy. Come play for us. I'm like, I'll do that. Like, you really come to Iraq? I'm like, yeah. So I got the deal done. Went down there. I think I finished averaging 21, 7 rebounds and 6 assists. But I only played the first half of the season because actually they had to send imports home there too for a little bit. And the team couldn't pay me enough money to finish me. So they was just like, and we're losing. We didn't make playoffs. It was like, we don't want to waste no money. The season's over. So that's why I came back home earlier than expected. But all the imports actually came back home. The guys on the top 2 teams went back. Everybody else, whoever won on the top 2 teams, they didn't come back. And the team wants me to come back for next year, but I won't go back to Iraq, unless it's a lot of money, and I'm not in it for the money, but when it comes to Iraq, I gotta put a lot of money in the case for it.
What city did you play in Iraq?
Kirkuk.
You were in Kirkuk. Okay.
Yeah, and we played in Baghdad too. So Najif.
And so, what was your experience like in those 3 cities? Off the court, do you get to take a look around? And what was your interaction? I know off the pod, you and I we were all talking about that everybody was really friendly and everything like that. So, what was the experience like in Iraq for you in those 3 cities?
it was all love, man. You know, a lot of fans used to come up to me, you know, look at my hair, my tattoos, and then when they see I play basketball, it was even, you know, even more love. But it was all love. Like in Najif, Adam and Eve is buried there, and that's like the #1 burial site in the world. You know, they got like a nice, like, I forgot what it's called, but it's like where Adam and Eve is buried. It's like a tomb, but it's like a big tomb. It's very beautiful, you know. Najib that was a great experience. Kirkuk is just a regular city in Iraq, you know, not a bad area at all. You know, it had its little war stuff there, but it's a okay city. And Baghdad, you know, Baghdad speaks for itself. You know, Baghdad is like a Las Vegas at night. You know, it get turned up. Like it's just that's really what it is. Like, and it's just Iraqi and Iran people. Like the streets is always filled. It's not more so like a lot of like, you know, drama going on. I didn't see a lot of drama. I mean, of course, I heard, you know, the bombing where we wasn't at, you know, and our defensive people in America, you know, they blocked it. But other than that, in Baghdad, I didn't see nothing bad or nothing. You know, the people on the street was very friendly. I didn't have no bad vibes in Iraq at all. Like, I mean, of course, I heard gunshots and all that, but, you know, you hear that in America sometimes. So, you know, other than that, it wasn't nothing. And I just didn't like how the power went out throughout the whole country. Like the power goes out throughout the whole country like, and it's like different times. It might go out for 5 minutes, or it might go out for 30 minutes, or an hour, 10 minutes. It was never a limit on the power going out. But other than that, off the court, it was a very good experience. Fans is all love. Yeah.
Can you compare that to the previous stops that you had? Because you were in Bucharest, which is a pretty cosmopolitan city, even for Romanian standards, and you were in Qatar, and then on the outskirts of Tunis before that.
Yeah, all of them was really like kind of different because like Romania was, you know, Europe speaks for itself. You know, very beautiful, sightseeing everywhere. Honestly, you know, just, you know, typical Europe. Like, but Qatar was like a different lifestyle for me. That was like more upper echelon. Like it was like I was around a lot of money, not even just basketball money, just like princes and, you know, all that type of stuff. So like Qatar was like eye opening. You know, I loved Qatar. I definitely would go back. We're trying to see if I'm gonna go back now too. You know, still debating. But Tunisia was different too. Tunisia felt like a vacation because I was on a resort. Because in Qatar, Romania had my own apartment. Well, Romania had a share apartment. Qatar had my own apartment, own car, all that. And then when I got to Tunisia, they put me literally on a resort where, like, you know, you or anybody in their family would be like, all right, I want to go to Tunisia. So stay at this hotel. They give me breakfast. Got a pool outside, the ocean there. It was so beautiful. So it was like, and I was there for a short period of time. So that felt like a real vacation. And then, like I said, Iraq was just a good experience, but it was a crazy experience at the same time. So all of them was very, very different, you know, in a way.
And if you had to pick a favorite, you played in every city that you're in couldn't be more, you know, different than each other. If you had to pick a favorite, what would it be?
Qatar.
Yeah,
Qatar for sure.
I know you had a good experience there on the court, and you had a good experience off the court too.
Yeah, man. So beautiful. The downtown, you know, they lights, they got buildings moving, you know, it was just so beautiful there, man. Like the atmosphere felt different. Like it was just, I loved it. Like I actually want to I'm trying to, like, even though I want to do this NBA stuff, you know, but if that don't work out and I have to stay overseas, I want to get a dual passport from Qatar or Dubai or Kuwait or like Saudi Arabia and play on their national team and make a living there, you know. I feel like I can do that easily, you know, once I just keep building my name up.
Well, the interview may be over, but the extras never end. You can find the extra content from our interview with Ameer exclusively on YouTube. We're going to talk to him about his prep for the TBT tournament coming up soon, where he will represent Bleed, Virginia. And we'll also talk about his best trash talk stories, as always, on the pod. So hit the bell and don't miss a thing.